my wonderful grandchild. What does it mean to be tough? I've been in the martial arts for over 50 years. So I've been in a lot of situations and fights and training, and you say, wow, that's really tough. That's really hard to do. We really went through some tough training sessions. I mean, I have fingers that will never bend because I was in fights. I've gotten my ass kicked and stomped, and wow, it's really, he's really tough. That's one kind of tough. But what about really tough? You can see that almost every day if you open up your eyes. What about the parents who are raising a handicapped child? How tough do you have to be to do that? What if you have a handicap yourself? Well, that's something. I don't stutter that much now, but when I was a kid, I was a very bad stutterer. I got picked on and laughed at, and I mean, it was very tough to deal with that. If you're asking me, was getting into a fight versus being laughed at as a kid, which do you have to be tougher to overcome? Answer, what do you think? Now, I often say that the road to success is, there are going to be obstacles, and you got to climb over the obstacles, and you got to fight and get up and learn from their mistakes and go, and you got to be tough, and Is that being tough? Or is that easy to say? Is that easy to say? What if you're in a relationship where you really love the person and there's a lot of love, but all of a sudden the love gives out on the other side and now you're alone? Wow, you got to really be tough to overcome that. What if you have a child and, all of your hopes and your dreams and your aspirations are for that child, and, the child, how much can you do? I mean, they just go down the wrong path, and now you have to deal with this and you have to live with this. That's really tough. I mean, you may have all of your dreams wrapped up in, starting a business or whatever, and you're throwing, you put everything you have into it, and it doesn't turn out very well. So again, you're thinking, I think, okay, get up, brush it off, do it. A lot easier for me to say it than for somebody to actually go through it and to live it. I mean, we have a program that we're talking about, but, persistence, determination, hard work, and, it's 5 years before you might see any kind of a return, and 10 years before you really start to get comfortable, and then 20 years before you really fulfill your objective. Can you go all that time? It's going to be tough to do that. So, if you see somebody in a wheelchair, or if you even think, what about somebody like Stevie Wonder? I mean, he's got all the money in the world, and he's got the world adores him, and he's such great talent, but he's blind. How tough was it to go through life that way? Would he give it all up to have his sight? Probably would. All I'm asking you to do is to have a sympathetic eye and realize what tough really is. And it may not be getting in there and taking the licks and punching the shit out of somebody. It might be the quiet desperation, the quiet loneliness if you're alone and you don't have people in your life who love and care about you. You got to be tough. Circumstances may put you in situations where you have to be tough, whether you're 10 years old Well, you're 77 like I am, you're a man or a woman, or living in Africa, or you're living in Montana, or what. There's a lot of times when you may have to be tough. And you have to realize that toughness and what other people may be going through. And if you can have a kind word, you can pat somebody on the shoulder who's going through something tough, and it may be something that you have to do every day. What about somebody who has an autistic child? I mean, they're not going to become unautistic. I mean, this is something you're going to have to deal with they're going to have to deal with their entire lives. How tough are those people? How much sympathy and compassion can you show to them? Can you do something to help? Well, tough, thoughtful, spiritual. I mean, if we get to the spiritual, which is, I'm going to do to others as I would want them to do unto me, and I'm going to be the best person that I can be. And sometimes that is really, really realizing, the fact that when I was younger, I could easily do 100 push-ups and I could take a real beating. That's not really tough when you think about it. It really isn't. So open up your eyes, open up your heart, and be the best you. I'm your Papa Bill.